Hi, everyone. My name is Miranda Ward with Valuable Voices, the podcast. I have my friend Michelle, and I'm so excited for you to hear what's going on. She's got a lot going, but it's just inspiring. So, I actually met her in a Kingdom Entrepreneurship program I was doing, and I got to be coached by her for
Yay.
weekly sessions. And it was so much value. I can't wait to even just dive back in probably in a month or so. But I am so happy you're on, Michelle. Thanks for coming on early morning.
Yes, I know, right? We're getting close to the holidays here. I guess probably air a little bit later for you guys, but
Yeah.
yeah, as we're ramping up, it's getting a little crazy in the Well household. But I am super happy to jump on here with you, Miranda. You've been an amazing woman to get to know through coaching. And guys, you're where she's going is really exciting. It's just been such a privilege to watch God sort of
Oh, thank you.
reveal the pieces and see you come alive from the first session to
Yeah.
our final session that we had together just recently. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
privilege
I'll
to
never
come.
forget kind of the timing in my life when I met you and that first session. So that was pretty powerful. Really, really awesome. So you've got a lot going, but I want to hear about your candles and your hats and how cute those are. So tell us
Mhm.
about it.
Oh, yeah. So the first business that I started was an e-commerce business. And so it's my baby, California Spice plus Minnesota Nice. I shortened it because those are the two places I'm from. I'm from California and I'm from Minnesota, and neither place like defines me. I know you probably have a little bit of a Christian audience, and they have those third culture kids, the ministry kids who grew up with their parents on the field. They come back home to the United States and they don't really feel at home. It's
Right.
kind of the same way with me. I don't really feel at home in Minnesota, and I don't really feel at home in California because I'm just a mix. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of us are a mix and sometimes don't feel like we're in the right place, but God has us in the right place. So that's behind the scenes. I don't really have an overt Christian business as far as that goes with the e-com, but yeah, God just said, I want you to start creating products that help people carry their own atmosphere wherever they go, an atmosphere of grace. Products that empower them to shift their atmosphere. I also am a military spouse wife, and so I meet people who have to uproot their lives and travel to new places and find and create their own space over and over. And so I wanted products that helped them just feel more empowered. And so that's where this company was born. And so we're just getting going. This is our third year, and we're finally like, this is wheelhouse year. Like we found the wheelhouse, and things are really clicking. So it's been an exciting ride, full of ups and downs. I always say, entrepreneurship is the best self-help program you will ever find. It will take you high, it will take you low, it'll put you on your knees. It'll give you the greatest ride of your life. So it's been a privilege to walk life the last few years as an entrepreneur, but I'll tell you, it has not been easy.
Oh gosh, I can imagine. But probably worth it, right? And like you said, you're just getting started. But check it out, Cal Spice, MN, like nice, Minnesota Nice. I love that name. And tell us about the candles because I know they're not just any candle. I really want
Mm.
to try them.
Yeah, the reason that became sort of a flagship product was as I started researching who could make the product for me. I would design them because that's my background is graphic design.
Yeah.
So I knew I could design them and the labels, and I thought that would be awesome part of my creativity to keep going in entrepreneurism. But I didn't have time to like hand make everything and sell it and
Yeah.
learn marketing and all that good stuff. So as I was doing some research about candles, I could not believe how toxic they were. Like it was an eye opener. I thought maybe there was something in the scent that could be not so good, but I didn't realize like it had phthalates that are like known cancer like carcinogenic. And then the type of wax that they use is called a lot of times anyway in cheaper candles
Yeah.
is paraffin wax, which comes from petroleum. And when you burn it, you can see like the black icky sticky goo. Like if you rub your finger inside a candle, like it's
Wow.
black. Yeah, by the time you finish burning it, you can see that, and all that stuff you breathe in and it goes to the deepest part of your lungs, and your lungs you
Mm,
can't clean, so it just
yeah.
sort of traps everything right there. And if you have a toxic fragrance too, it's going to trap that right in your lungs. And so
Right.
I was just horrified, and I was like, okay, God, well, you got the wrong girl. I'm not going to be making you a candle that's going to kill people.
Yeah.
So he's like, nope, keep digging, keep digging. And so little by little, I finally discovered a wax, a wick, and a fragrance that was like what God was like, now you found a girl. Like, and so I just feel comfortable that I can, you know, give these to my friends who have recovered from breast cancer, or, you know, for me, I have a thyroid, you know, an autoimmune issue. I don't want anything tripping anybody else out.
Right.
And my husband is allergic to everything. So as I was making these candles, like having the company ship them back to me, I put it in front of my husband and I just sit there and watch him. Like,
Oh my
is he
God.
gonna get in? Because he gets like something on his tongue, like goes numb or something. So I always know if it's toxic right away, but I put the candle in front of him for like several hours and nothing. So I was like, yeah,
Oh my God.
by George, we've got it. So yes, we are coming out with for the new year. There's going to be a pretty fun flagship line, and
Yay.
it's a lot of fun. And then we have hats and different things that we bring in and out of the line that just sort of encourage people. And we work with influencers to sell the product. So I don't do a whole lot on social media with it because I'm
Okay.
just so busy on the back end,
Yeah.
working working other avenues to sell it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I am out there. If you look for me on Insta and Facebook, Cal Spice is there.
Awesome. Well, we'll post the link for sure, but check it out. I definitely want to try the candles. I think, you know, we're both moms and we're always looking for the best, healthiest thing, but it's sometimes just overload. So I love that you did that research and found what you needed to.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the Faith Over Business Chicks too. I know people can find you on Facebook there,
Oh
but
yeah, Faith Over Fear. Yep, business chicks. We, as several of us had, you know, found each other on different like faith-based entrepreneurship programs, we kept bumping into each other, and we finally thought, you know, women are just not getting what they need to launch, and a lot of it comes down to accepting your identity and understanding what God made you to do, and also the things that you have right now in your hand. We know that back in First Kings, Elisha talked to the widow and he said, "What's in your hand?" And she was like, "Huh? Like, how is that going to save me from my debtors and taking my children?" And it did. It saved her. It was enough. What she had in her hand and what she was able to leverage in her community was enough. And so we help women say, you know, you don't need to go spend 10 grand on some mastermind that you're not ready for, or you're going to be paying for the next few years. That's going to handicap you or handcuff you. What you have in your hand right now to get started. It's a season of making oil with God. It's understanding how he wants to work with you and developing that relationship, that intimacy with him, and understanding your unique gifting and wiring that we call your first name identity. We all share what we call a last name identity, that we're all sons and daughters, we're all servants, but we all share or don't share a first name. You are Miranda, I am Michelle. We are unique. And so we help women pull that stuff out and get it to work for them, get it leveraged, get it moving. And we always say action creates clarity. So we start moving women in baby steps, and all of a sudden it's a snowball and they're off. And I know you've kind of experienced that, so you can probably tell people how exciting it is when you get that clarity.
Yeah, and I can totally relate. You know, I feel like I'm kind of the program hopper, right? I go from this to this to this to this, and let's try this, and let's read this book, and let's do this course. And just that feeling of not feeling good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that relates to identity and just not knowing, not really taking inventory of what you already have in your hand. I love that. So
Yeah, so good.
That's just awesome. And I love what you're doing with Atmosphere of Grace. It's just a beautiful, beautiful community of women. And I think that's where you showed Jim Baker, right? I just got so much value out of those few days and just the ongoing that you're doing there. And you can just feel the love in that group. So again, like, how are you doing all these things? But they all kind of relate, right?
Yeah. So yeah, actually you saw Jim Baker in the Faith Over Fear Biz Chicks. He's our kickoff. Yeah. I don't know how we got him. Like, literally, that story is a miracle story. But Jim agreed to come on and kick off our challenge that we kind of keep ongoing right now. It's kind of shut down over the holidays because we just need more time with our families. But yeah, he is amazing. If you don't know who Jim Baker is out of Ohio, you can go look him up. He's amazing. So he came on and gave a little talk about money and finances and giving us permission to succeed and why it's in scripture and not the health and wealth gospel. Like, that's not what we're talking about. It's something that is there for you. It's available to you when you put your hand there to the plow. Like God says, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. And he invites us into a journey of discovery and to providing for us. And so anyway, Jim explains it much more eloquently than I do, but yes. So from there, we were like, hey, we see so many of these women who don't believe, as they're coming into our coaching, they just don't believe in themselves. They don't understand their identity, and they don't understand the permission that they have or the calling that they are struggling with, right? It's just buried so deep. And so we want to just give women just an atmosphere of grace, we call it, to discover and to be told. None of us hear it enough, right? We're always dishing out to our children, to our family, we're just encouragers. We're like, our job is to like push into other people usually in our life, and we don't boomerang. It doesn't boomerang enough and come back and encourage us that we do have permission and we are enough in Jesus. Like, he's enough for us, and getting that encouragement day after day. So we come on like every day of the week. On the weekend, we kind of take it a little quieter, but just as a place for you to quick hop on and get a nugget of encouragement, because we just we feel like the attack is heavy on women, and that they don't see clearly the path forward to their dreams, or just out of heaviness, maybe not to anything in particular, but just a way to give women something that is not available every day. We thought there's a hole there, so we decided to fill it. So my team and I are in there daily, just dropping some, you could call it devos, you can call it encouragement. I mean, we never know. We just kind of get a topic from God each week, and then we go live, and we're just obedient to hop on there and open our mouths and be a little tool for him. So that's it. There's no strings attached. You can just come on in, and we're just being together.
Yeah, that's such a cool community, you guys. Check it out. She did a beautiful little giveaway. Not little, gave away a ton of stuff. I got to watch some of it kind of after the fact, but it was awesome. And again, just know your heart. I mean, your heart is just so pure, and I love that. I love that. Tell me about this sign behind you. I just love it, and I can't.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I live in a small town in Minnesota. I mean, it's not super small, but we have just like this entrepreneurial spirit here. And so this is one of my friends, Allison Tedslaff. I can give you her info, but she is amazing. She has these little pop-up shops twice a year where she just sells her things, and she had invited other entrepreneurs in the town to join her. And so just this last week, God just said she's supposed to be done with this sign that she's had. And so I saw it up for sale, and I was like, I had just started Atmosphere of Grace, and I was like, I have to have that. I have to have that. And in Miranda, you probably know, like, I usually, as I'm giving my devos or something, I say the word darling a lot. And so there it starts, darling. And so it's sort of become our anthem in Atmosphere of Grace. We're going to get t-shirts that kind of say all of that. I can't read it. It's backwards for me. So I don't know if you, but yeah, it's just encouraging us that we have things that no one else has, and the world needs them. And we are only going to feel alive when we're using them. And that's really the spirit of Atmosphere of Grace, is just coming alive and using your giftings, whatever way they manifest. We're not telling you how to do anything, but that is what makes you laugh and dance and sing and have that joy and play and come alive. So remember to live life as only you can. You're the only one who can live it out that way, and the world needs it. And I always say the world needs it. The world needs you being fully you. And so all three of these are really about the same thing. They just kind of came out in a different way. One's a service, one's a commodity, and then the other is just a group. So it was really a tangled mess in my heart, and I couldn't get clarity on it. And no mentor could give me clarity on it, quite frankly. All they kept saying was, you're not supposed to give anything up. Like, that's what we're getting from God. So I was like, but you're never supposed to launch more than one business at a time and get it on its way. So it's been a little bit of a heavy load, but God brought some amazing people alongside me to help carry the load. And so off we are, off we go, off we go.
Yes, I love it. And I just relate a lot with that side with your voice. I mean, that's the whole reason for this podcast is I have met so many amazing people in my life, and I just really want to celebrate them and just like thank you, because again, even if it's just, you know, we only work together 4 weeks, but I see you every week. You maybe don't know I'm watching. I guess I comment, but I'm just watching because it's just, again, I'm just connected to your heart. I love your story, your mission, your message, and it's just awesome. So again, there's people out there that need what you're doing. And I love that because I think so many women, I mean, I got to a point where I was just stuck. I felt like there was more, didn't know what to do. And maybe you have a similar story. Do you have a similar story like that kind of like launched you into this?
Mine was a little more desperate. Like, I honestly didn't believe it was possible. I was at a place where I was like, how do people even believe they can become this other? It was so far removed from me, like being able to be a successful, like 6-figure, 7-figure entrepreneur, like that was so far out of my realm of possibility. I was sitting there, I had a battle buddy one summer, and I was like, how did you even believe that this was true? And she just said, it had to be. I couldn't fail. Like it was non-optional. I was in a place where it was, and I was just shaking my head like, I just don't know that it's even possible for me. Like, I really didn't believe it was possible for me. Like, I don't know how it was even possible for anybody at that. I really didn't know how other people succeeded in business. Like, I truly had such a cap in my head about these things that it took me, at least a year to like undo the cap that had been really like placed over my head in belief. So it really wasn't possible. And then I had the most unusual dream one morning. I've never had anything like this happen since then, and I've never had anything like this happen before. But I had a dream about this word called vibratio. As like an old Latin word, and be careful how you look that up. I'm just gonna say, if you decide to look it up, say, is vibratio a word? Just like that. Be very careful. So I literally had this dream. I woke up and to like literally clap, like a clap, and the word vibratio. And I was like, what just happened? And so I grabbed my phone, I hit the little speaker, and I was like, is vibratio a word? And I look up, and it is. And it means to flourish, to brand, to wield over your head as a glory weapon. And I was like, to vibrate underground as if ready to flourish. I was like, all the words that were coming out, I was like, it's my time. It's my time. Wow. So I know, like, I can't tell you where it came.
Wow, like crazy.
Right? And so I have that page open to a journal. Like, I journal it almost every day. And I have my old journal like sitting here next to me with that story, because I never want to forget that moment where it was like, no, girl, it's time now. Like, it's time. You are a vibration. So the stuff you see, I think, is like, I'm humbled because it's nothing that I can say I created. It's stuff that I'm just trying to follow the roadmap, and it's not always easy.
I mean, being obedient isn't always easy. So you definitely have a part in it, girl.
Yes, we all do. We all need to just press in deeper and harder. When it gets harder, you press in harder for God. And when it gets harder, you press in harder. And it is hard. And I know, you and I've shared that, like it can get pretty tough, and it can get pretty dark. And, but that is just where God is, his intimacy. It's what we need for the rest of the trip, right? We need that. We need to cultivate that intimacy with him in the dark times. Because I can tell you right now, I would never be able to shoulder what I'm shouldering. It would have crushed me if I was the same person I was 3-4 years ago. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I needed the growth time, and I certainly didn't need the shame of somebody telling me I should already have it together by now, and that maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not listening to God, and maybe I need to pop the hood on my marriage. That was one that really that like there was nothing going on in my marriage that needed yes, we can all get better, we can be better spouses, but I was hearing things that were so destructive to why I couldn't launch a business that I was like, I won't ever do that. I want a business that will never do that to a woman, that will cause her to doubt who God is, but only to help cultivate instead what it is, and get to the bottom. Like, we all have a season of growth. Sometimes it's really frustrating when you want to move forward, that you've got to like go a little deeper and a little tougher. Yeah, you can relate. And so we get clients in that are quite frustrated. They're like, I've been working with a coach for this long and I spent this much on this. And I'm like, I'm sorry that happened. But right now, this is where you truly are. And we need to go deeper to uncover some things about your identity and your purpose before we try to move forward, because it'll crush you.
Yeah. So you're really looking at people that are either ready to launch something or have something in them and don't know what to do with it, like all those, right?
Yeah, and even women who really have been at it and they think they know, but they've not caught traction. They've just kind of like everything they've tried to do has just kind of been a little squirt of success, and they just can't quite get all the pieces together. It's usually because they didn't quite get that clarity on identity and leverage and all the pieces that once we do that work with them, it's beautiful because it unlocks a piece of them that was probably buried and told that wasn't like worth it or wasn't, valid, or actually we had one woman who was told what her gifting, she was told was a curse, like basically like, you're too sensitive and you're too this and you're too that. Well, all of that was what was pointing to what ministry she was going to be able to be successful in. And she had now been looking at it as a negative for so long. For us to work forward and get it as a positive, well, for that woman to try to launch a business right now, like, that's not appropriate. And so for another mentor to say, hey, buck up, get it going, maybe look at this, look at that, and all of these other internal things that could be going wrong, like that just puts head trash in our and so we just really feel like it's powerful when women get loved on in a way that we can speak truth and life and light into them. All it is, I just say it's like this. We take, like, picture a paper towel roll. Like, if we would pull the paper towel roll out and show it to you, like, and all of a sudden you just see it, like, or we peel the label off the bottle and we show it to you, it's in there. All a good coach does is pull it out of you, and sometimes it's down there pretty deep, it's buried by some pain, and we're trained coaches to deal with this stuff, and so we help uncover some, well, why do you think that? What is the behind that? What happened? And we uncover that so we can really not just rip little tiny chunks of the label out. You know how it is when you're trying to like peel a label off, sometimes you just get a corner and then it starts to rip. Like, we want to get the whole label off and show it to you, like, this is what God designed you to be and do. And then they just run off just charging into knowing. And that was kind of like I told you before, like, I didn't know, so I couldn't really charge off into my business because I just didn't know. And so of course I was going to be stunted and hit these walls and not believe and not even trust myself to make a good business decision. So we have to get that foundation in place, because so many entrepreneurs fail or walk away disappointed or discouraged or even just doubting God again. And that's just not where we want women to be.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough walk, and doing it alongside a community and support, and of course, kingdom mindset is awesome. And okay, I got to wrap up here, but I got to ask you, what's your like quick faith journey? Because you're just so connected. I'd love to kind of hear where that all started, or have you always been that way?
So I first, I was going to a youth group with some friends of mine. I was raised Catholic, and but my friend's Lutheran youth group was just like so on fire. Like, they just had it going on. Kids were showing up all the time, and I think I was just like a youth group junkie. Like, anytime somebody would invite me to their youth group, like, I would go, and I just wanted to always be there. I don't know why. And then I think it was my senior year. It was September of my senior year, Billy Zabka and his friend came out to Minnesota. If you don't know who Billy Zabka is, he is on Netflix right now. But he was the villain Johnny in Karate Kid. And so, now they have Cobra Kai on Netflix. But Billy came out here to Minnesota to talk to these youth groups that I was going to, and talk to them about just, we're on the throne, and we got to decide if you want Jesus on the throne. I was like, sure, I'll do that.
Wow.
So that was the night I remember. They were just sharing their own personal testimonies, and I got saved that night. And then I went out to California to go to college, and so I had seen it. I got to go to some things out there too with them. So anyway, that's my faith story, is that I became a Christian in my senior year of high school, and it's been a long journey to get to this place many, many moons later, that I just wake up every day and I have to have him like present in my life and moving me forward. I will not take a move without knowing that I feel the peace that this is what he wants. And now pouring it all into my children, to the next generation, hoping that they carry a heart for him even brighter than I do.
Yeah. Just beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
I feel like I could talk to you for like an hour, but I'm going to let
I have
you
an
go.
open book. I don't hold anything back.
I love it. Well, yeah, obviously people can totally get connected to you, so I'll put those links, and I just can't wait to continue this journey with you. So thanks for jumping on.
Yes, you're most welcome. So happy to meet you and your audience.
All right. Have a great day, Michelle. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.